Right, today we're going to reflect on SD 51.24 on page 151, the Uttana Sutta. The rousing discourse, SN 2.10, which incorporates verses SN 3312 to 334. The theme is the most urgent task of spiritual cultivation. Now, this sutta is interesting in the sense that it is closely connected with another well-known sutta, the Pasada Kampana Moggallana Sutta, as 51.14. Now, the narrative is the same. It's about Moggallana using his big toe to shake the whole building because there are some monks who are quite indisciplined. They were kind of making some noise and not very calm, not very mindful. So here the Buddha gives some instructions by way of verses, and these verses form the conclusion or the highlight of the teaching. So in fact, this sutta doesn't have any story, I think. They're only just verses, right? So the Sangyutta Sutta as 51.14 supplies the narrative. The story goes that the Buddha and the monks, they were staying in the Megara's mother's mansion, so you have kind of two stories. It's a very big building with 500 cells, little rooms for the monks downstairs and 500 cells upstairs. Now, whenever the Buddha stays downstairs, of course the monk will stay downstairs with him, they won't go upstairs. But this time, the Buddha was staying upstairs. And so there were these younger monks, newly ordained monks, the Nawaka Bhikkhu, they were staying downstairs. And it is said that after their lunch, they kind of took a siesta and never woke up until sunset, until evening. Then they woke up in the cool of the evening, and they started meeting together in the terrace and started chatting and having all kinds of frivolous talk and so on, and making some noise. And the Buddha is upstairs, able to hear them. So here again we see this very interesting situation where you have some indisciplined monks right near the Buddha in this case. So here the Buddha is kind of very gentle here. He did not do any disciplining like in the Chattuma Sutta. Here he kind of almost like plays a practical joke on the monks by kind of terrifying them into samvega, into spiritual urgency. So these monks were very frivolous, so the Buddha summons Moggallana and says, Moggallana, will perform some of your miracle, especially just to shake this building up and to rouse these monks to be more aware of their status. This is one of those very special occasions when we see the Buddha, in a sense, instilling some fear in the monks who are frivolous. Here, what is interesting is it's not called fear here. It's not fear in the sense of hellfire. Yeah, in a sense, the fear of death, because this building is going to This building is swaying and probably gently swaying and kind of earth tremors. Moggallana gets into this deep meditation, fourth jhana, and he comes out of it. He does the water kasina, which kind of makes the foundation of this two-story building unstable, so to speak, and it kind of became wobbly. And that was enough to terrify the monks and say, oh dear, what's happening here? This building is going to collapse. And that kind of shook them into the present reality that they are monks and they're supposed to behave themselves, and the Buddha is just upstairs, and so on. Of course, in this case, it is unlikely the Buddha was upstairs. The Buddha was probably downstairs doing his walking meditation, or again, well, the Buddha could be upstairs, but it's not affected by the swaying and quaking of the building. And once this building kind of stops swaying and trembling, the monks assemble before the Buddha and kind of intimated their fear, and like they're telling the Buddha what's going on here, what's going to happen. And then that's when the Buddha says, well, you have to be mindful, you have to know that you're monks, you have to conduct yourself properly, and so on. And as the highlight of his instructions, he gave these 4 verses, which you will reflect on today. As Entry 3.1 says, rise up, sit up. What good to you is sleeping? What sleep is there for the afflicted, pierced by a dart injured? Right? Now, of course, here these monks, they're not sleeping, although they slept the whole day and they got up in the evening. So, in a sense, the Buddha is referring back to their lazy habit. Right? Of course, it could be possible that these monks were waking up. Maybe the storyteller kind of did not remember the event clearly. This was actually the monks were sleeping, and then the Buddha said, Moggallana, why don't you wake them up? Kind of sway the building a bit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Here, the Buddha is telling basically to rise up, to get into action, to meditate. Right? Rise up, sit up. Well, sit up, there you are. Sit up in meditation. What good to you is sleeping, right? This sleeping has got it's a play on the word sleeping. You find the first few verses of the Samyutta. There's a lot of talk about sleeping. There's a play on the word sleeping, the sleep of ignorance, and we're supposed to wake up from this sleep of ignorance. So you have awakening as against sleeping. Sleeping is the way of the world, ignorance, and awakening is the way of the Buddha, of freedom. So basically, the Buddha is saying, what's all this sleep when we are suffering? So this ignorance is bringing us pain. So we should do something about this. Verse 332 says, rise up, sit up, train yourself hard for peace. Let not the king of death, knowing you to be heedless, delude you to follow his will. So here, again, we have this refrain, sit up, meditate. You are here to train yourself. You're new monks, you're young monks, so train yourself for inner peace, for clarity of mind, so that you can truly see true reality. If not, then Mara will hold you in its grasp and easily trick you into following him, into following the world, into being caught up with worldliness and so on. Verse 333. Cross over this attachment, stuck to which gods and humans remain wanting. Let not the moment elude you. When the moment is gone, their sorrow of finding themselves in hell. So here is quite a grave warning. Cross over this attachment to sleep, to laziness, to frivolous talk, and so on, what is unmonkey. And if you're stuck to this, whether you are a god or a human, if you're not exertive, you're not working to make sure that your mind is clear, free from greed, hate, and delusion, then you will always be wanting. There's always something that you want. So this is the moment, the Buddha says. This is your chance to meditate. There's the teaching here, the suttas are here, the methods are known. So let not the moment elude you. Don't miss this chance. Because when the moment is gone, then you will sorrow. You say, oh, where can I find a teacher? Where can I find a method of meditation? Then you will sorrow because you're caught in hell. Here, this inner suffering. This hell we carry within us. It's like a virus, always there. When we are not mindful, when we do wrong things, then this virus comes alive, this hell rises up in us. It's not a place we go to, it's always there within us. So we have to be very careful, in other words. And finally, the Buddha says in verse SN 334, negligence is dust, this is ever so. Negligence is pursued by dust. By vigilance and knowledge, one should remove one's dart. So here, negligence is the opposite of diligence. If we summarize the whole of Buddhism, Buddhist practice in one word, it would be diligence. If we summarize the opposite of it in one word, it would be negligence. Diligence in putting effort to train yourself, keeping the precepts, training the mind, cultivating wisdom. If not, then the dust will settle into our eyes. Then we will not be able to see well. We have to blink, we have to close our eyes. Our eyes will be in pain. We won't be able to see well, or maybe not see at all, because we can't open our eyes. So that's the dust of greed, hate, and delusion. Negligence is pursued by dust, so this dust follows us if we are lazy. So by vigilance, here we can also take vigilance as the translation for appamada, vigilance, diligence. Vigilance and knowledge. Vigilance the effort, knowledge is the result. So you can see vigilance is the meditation, or vigilance is the moral virtue and meditation, and knowledge is the wisdom aspect. One should remove one's dart. This dart is, of course, ignorance. So this is where through our own effort we remove this dart. We're able to do that. We're not like Androcles and the lion, right? This lion needs Androcles to come along and pull the dart out, the little shard out of the paw. And this wonderful lion is grateful to Androcles. Here we are both Androcles and we are the lion. The lion in us is caught with this dart, so we pull out this dart from the lion within us. Then we roar, the lion roar. We speak Dharma. We are truly lion of the Dharma, so to speak. Right, so this is a short and sweet sutta reminding us to put in effort to practice meditation. So do read the details of the various verses. There are lots of notes here, and this will help you to be inspired in the Buddha Dharma and to practice for awakening in this life itself. Let us now close with a short reflection. Now that the Buddha's teaching is still with us, we should make every effort to study, to understand what the teachings are about and how to practice them. And there are good living teachers around. We should consult them and emulate their wonderful ways of inner peace and wisdom. Reflecting in this way is good karma. By the power of such good karma, may we be well and happy, and be blessed with wisdom and courage to aspire at least to stream winning in this life itself. May our relatives and friends and loved ones to be well and happy. May they too see the true Dharma in this life itself. And also, may those who are lost and have difficulties in the teachings to come to see the true path in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.